All right, it's time to get ready for our Unit 2 test. And so we're going to go through this and then make sure, let me know if you have any questions. But we're going to graph these given functions. And so this first one, this is our parent function. This one hasn't been shifted in any way. And so we're going to start at the origin at 0, 0. Then the slope is just 1, so we're going to go up 1 over 1 in both directions, making our V shape. All right, my domain on this one is all real numbers because it goes forever to the left, forever to the right. My range starts at 0 and goes all the way up to infinity. This one has a lowest point, so it's a minimum value of 0. That's the y value. My symmetry is x equals, and it's where it cuts the v in half. And so x equals 0. And then as far as the increasing and decreasing, it plays off the domain. Negative infinity is far left, positive infinity is far right. On the left side, and then the cut point is 0. On this left side, as I go left to right, my pin is falling, so it's decreasing over here, and it's rising, it's increasing over here. So my decreasing falls between negative infinity and 0, and my increasing goes from 0 to infinity. Then the x and y intercepts are where it crosses the x and y axis, so it crosses the x-axis at 0 and the y-axis at 0 as well. All right, this next one, we're going to the right 2 and up 3. That's our new starting point, our vertex, right 2 and up 3. My slope is negative 1/2, so we're going to go down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, both directions. All right, so there's my graph. My domain, again, is all real numbers. Every time for absolute value, it goes forever left, forever right. My range, the low point now is negative infinity. It goes all the way down to negative infinity. My highest point is at 3. This one has a highest point, so a maximum value of 3. The symmetry is right here where it cuts the V, which is x equals 2. And then on my increase and decrease, and again, it's off domain. Here's my 2 right here where it gets cut. Negative infinity on the left, positive infinity on the right. Now as I go left to right, it's rising on the left, so increasing, falling on the right, decreasing. So there's my increasing interval, negative infinity to 2. And then decreasing goes from 2 to infinity. Number 3, no left to right movement. We're going down 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My slope is 3, so I'm going to go up 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. We'll do it on the left side as well. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2, 3. My domain again goes forever left, forever right, so all real numbers. My range has a low value of negative 4 all the way up to infinity. So it has a lowest value, a minimum value of negative 4. My symmetry is cut at x equals 0 again. And again, negative infinity, positive infinity. We're decreasing on the left, increasing on the right. And so here's my intervals. Decreasing negative infinity to 0, increasing 0 to infinity. All right. Number 4, we're going to go left 4 and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's our starting point, our vertex, and our slope is just negative 1, so we go down 1 over 1 in both directions. My domain again is all real numbers every time. My range has a low value of negative infinity. Highest point is 5. This one has a highest point, so a maximum of 5. The symmetry gets cut at x equals negative 4. And now we're increasing on the left, decreasing on the right, negative infinity, positive infinity. This is negative 4. So there's my increasing interval, negative infinity to negative 4. And then decreasing negative 4 to infinity. All right, write the equation. So we have f of x equals, we got to stretch by a factor of 2. Shift 4 units to the right, so x minus 4, and that's it. Absolute value function has a domain of all real numbers and a range of -3 to infinity. So if I were to graph this, it's going to have a low value of -3, and it's going to go all the way up to infinity. And it could start anywhere on the -3. And so the important things are it's going in the upwards direction, so I need to see a positive in the front. It doesn't matter what number you put in front, as long as it's positive. It doesn't matter what number you put inside the absolute value, because it can go left, right, any direction. But the important thing is it goes down 3, so we'll put a -3 at the end. So it's important that it's positive, and we have a -3 at the end. List all transformations. 0.75 is between 0 and 1, so we're going to have a vertical compression by the 0.75. We're going to go to the right 7, because that -7 goes to the right, and then +4 is going to go up 4. Over here, we've got the negative in the front. That's going to reflect it over the x-axis. The 3 is greater than 1, and so that's going to be a vertical stretch by 3. X plus 1 is going to go left 1, and -9 is going to go down 9. We're going to solve. So on this one, absolute value is by itself, and so now it's time to split it. We're going to set x minus 4 is equal to 12. X minus 4 is equal to -12. And we'll add 4 to both sides to get x equals 16. Add 4 to both sides to get x is equal to -8. And then it could always be helpful to check our work, and so we can plug it in. 16 minus 4 is 12. Absolute value of 12 is 12. -8 minus 4 is -12. Absolute value of -12 is +12. Both of them check. All right, this one we get the absolute value by itself first. We're going to subtract 4.4 on both sides. And so we get -0.3. Absolute value of x plus 2.5 is equal to 12. Then we're going to divide by -0.3. So the absolute value of x plus 2.5 is equal to, I'll put it in my calculator, 12 divided by -0.3 is -40. I got the absolute value by itself, but we have a negative over here. Absolute values are always positive, and so there's a no solution. Absolute value cannot equal a negative. All right, number 11, we'll start by subtracting the 12.5. So 4, absolute value of x minus 2.5 is equal to 0. We'll divide by 4, which gets x minus 2.5 is equal to still 0, because 0 divided by 4 is 0. Since equals 0, I can't split 0. And so we're just going to have one answer. And so we'll add the 2.5 over, and x equals 2.5. We could check it by plugging in. 2.5 minus 2.5, that's 0. 0 times 4 is 0, plus 12.5 is 12.5. Absolute value is by itself. It's time to split it. 5x minus 4 equals 16. Also, 5x minus 4 is equal to -16, and then we'll solve for each of them. So we'll add 4 over. 5x is equal to 20. We'll divide by 5. X equals 4. We'll add 4 over. 5x is equal to -12, and we'll divide by 5 to get x equals -12 over 5, or if you want to put that in your calculator, -2.4. And then if you wanted to check this, you could check it. Another good way of checking it, like we went over in class, is plug it in. So we're going to store in that 4 for x, and then we'll put it in the calculator just as it is. So we'll put in absolute value 5x minus 4, and if we got it right, it should equal 16. Check. And now we'll store in our other one. So -12 divided by 5, we'll store in for x. And then we'll copy and paste this equation down. It equals 16. Check. All right, now we've got an inequality. So again, we'll get the absolute value by itself. So we'll add 9 over. We'll divide by 3. And then it's time to split. And so 2x minus 6 is less than 6, and also 2x minus 6 is greater than -6. And then we'll add the 6 over, and so we get 2x is less than 12, and we'll divide by 2 to get x is less than 6. Then on the other side, we'll add the 6 over, so 2x is greater than 0. We'll divide by 2, x is greater than 0. So you can write it like this, or you can also write it x is greater than 0, less than 6. Either way will work. On this one, the absolute value is by itself. It's time to split it. X minus 2 is greater than 3. X minus 2 is less than negative 3. We'll add the 2 over. So x is greater than 5. X is less than negative 1. And there's an or statement right here. We're greater than 5, less than negative 1. All right, we'll isolate the absolute value first. We'll subtract the 12 over. And then we'll divide by 3. All right, and so on this one right here, we have an absolute value, which is a positive, is less than or equal to a negative. A positive cannot be less than a negative, so this one's no solution. We'll divide by negative 4. And since we divided by negative 4, we're going to have absolute value of x plus 2. We're going to flip the inequality since we divided by negative. On this one, we've got a positive is greater than or equal to a negative. Positive is always greater than a negative, so this one's all real answers. We'll subtract 5 over 5. 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 10. We'll divide by 5. 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 2, and it's time to split it. So 2x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 2, and also 2x minus 4 is less than or equal to negative 2. And so we'll add 4 over. 2x is greater than or equal to 6. Divide by 2. X is greater than or equal to 3. We'll add 4 over. 2x is less than or equal to 2. We'll divide by 2. X is less than or equal to 1. And the last one, we're back to equals, and so we'll add 4 over 2/5. 5x plus 7 is equal to 56. And then to get rid of this fraction, we'll multiply by the reciprocal, and so we'll multiply by 5 halves. And so 5x plus 7 is equal to, and I'll play it in my calculator, 56 times 5 over 2, 140. And then it's time to split it. And so 5x plus 7 equals 140, and also 5x plus 7 is equal to negative 140. We'll subtract 7 over to get 5x is equal to 133. And then we'll divide by 5. And so x is equal to 133 over 5. Or you can put that in your calculator to get the decimal, 26.6. And so that's a 1 answer. We'll subtract 7 over here to get 5x equals negative 147. We'll divide by 5 to get x equals negative 147 over 5. Which again, you can put in the calculator if you want to get the decimal, negative 29.4. All right, for the equation, we want to see, are these the solutions? There's 2 ways you could do it. You could plug them in and say yes or no, or we can solve this to see. And so I'm going to go ahead, ignore this, and just solve it. So I'm going to isolate the absolute value first by adding 1 over. And so when I add 1 to 9, that becomes 10. And then we'll divide by 2 to get absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 5. We'll split it. X plus 7 equals 5. X plus 7 equals negative 5. We'll subtract the 7 over to get x equals negative 2. So that checks. We'll subtract 7 over here to get x equals negative 12. That doesn't, so the answer is no. And that's it for our review. And so make sure to look through this review. Let me know if you have any questions so you can do well on your test. Thank you.